Hey, what's up YouTube? This one will be going up when I get back from town. I'm going into town now, showing off my little stand in the park badge there and my obviously no more lockdowns hoodie representing the UNN crew. But yeah, I've done my rant. I've had to do it differently because I can't pause on my TV at the minute. For some reason it's playing up, so it's no biggie. What I'll do is we'll edit together the rant that I did and might have to dub over it a bit, but that's it. Anyway, be when I get back from town now, so. Hey, right, so apologies this is so late. I've had to download a new editing software, so video editing app. Another one, it wouldn't, I spent 20 minutes doing a rant, probably tell from my voice. Tried to edit it in with the other ones I'd got ready, and the audio on that one just, oh, it was awful. You couldn't listen to it. So here I am, I'm trying again. So I might skip through some of it because otherwise it was going to be a long video anyway, but let's get cracking. Obviously now they're about to start talking about the weekend's March for Freedom.
The anti-lockdown protests were a disgrace. I bet you saw them at the weekend. 0207 862 2222. An estimated 10,000 gathered for the Unite for Freedom March in London. Look at this.
Hang on, sorry.
An estimated 10,000.
Look at that face. How can he say that with a straight face? He's a good actor, isn't he? Oh, well, not that good. I don't know.
Gathered for the Unite for Freedom March in London. Look at this. And it didn't hear on the news very much either. Opposing COVID restrictions.
No, that's funny, isn't it? You don't hear it much on the news. I wonder why.
And proposed vaccine passports.
Oh, and I apologise for that grinder going off. Yeah, don't ask. It was one of those mornings.
Protesters defied social distancing rules and were seen without masks, a clear breach of government guidelines. And things...
Spouting it again, the government guidelines, you see. Designed to obviously get people reminded, put the fear into people watching this who don't agree with what we did on Saturday.
Turned violent with 8 police officers injured in high...
And look at this. He's literally shown a couple of shots of like a huge crowd marching, and then this. There's no context, is there? So to anyone who's just seeing kind of a lot of this for the first time, because let's be honest, apart from this particular bit, you wouldn't have seen much on MSM. So now what they've seen there is a couple of shots of people just marching into now this. So they think this is literally probably happening in the street. I don't know.
And at least 5 arrests made. The Home Secretary described this as senseless violence performed by thugs. The Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon...
Well, no one cares what Sturgeon says, but in argument to that, I would say the only thugs there were the actual police. I've seen footage from lots of different people, and the police steamed in and started kicking off and caused the trouble.
In Glasgow, upsetting. So, Melanie, were these protests...
I think they just, I don't know if they were going in necessarily to grab people, but they were definitely going in to try and grab the sound equipment and stuff. I've seen the videos. If you go on Telegram, if you're not just glued to MSM, then I'm sure you've seen it as well.
Disgrace.
I believe they were, yes. Whether you agree or don't agree with the way the government has handled this entire situation, and I don't agree with it, we have been following a path to lockdown, and we are, a pathway out of lockdown, and we are so close to that.
I'm going to skip past her because she doesn't bring anything at all to this other than to kind of sit there at a funny angle. I don't even know who she is. I don't even know if she's a she, to be honest, but I'm going to skip past her. I don't really care what she's saying. That's who we want to hear. Beverly is absolutely amazing today. Absolutely amazing.
Sarah, who's a regular on this show. Morning, Bev.
Morning.
So what do you make of that? A disgrace, Melanie was saying.
Beverly, why don't you just say what you really think? I don't give a fuck what she thinks. That's what she's thinking. Look at that. Go on, Bev, go on. You know you want to.
Oh, I'd love to know what Melanie's basing that on, because of course we had Black Lives Matter protests last summer. There was no increase in infections after that. We had another Freedom March earlier in March, and there was no spike in infections after that. Anybody that sees that gathering and is frightened by that has understandably got an unified understanding of what the genuine risk is for people, particularly now. Would have been different in March 2020, I wouldn't disagree with you. But now we're looking at a situation where the vast majority of people, not 99% of those who would succumb to this virus, have been inoculated to all intents and purposes. And
I chuckle there because I love Beverly's air quotes there as she said that. Inoculation. With air quotes. Nice one, Beverly.
March on Saturday, you know, there were, you say 10,000, there were easily 350,000 people there. You wouldn't have seen it because it wasn't on the media. The BBC made no mention whatsoever of the march in the morning. They made no mention of it whatsoever on the news later in the day. You know, I applaud you, Jeremy, for having me on here.
I don't agree with her kiss arse in here, but most of what she was saying up to that point, yeah, I can definitely get behind. Definitely. But yeah, don't kiss his arse too much. There's one reason he's let you on, Bev, and that's because he's going to let you say certain things because he's got his little sidekick, his little attack dog. He's got Dr. Sarah Jarvis on hand to come at you with any facts that he can't deal with.
Talk about it because you are one of the very few mainstream media outlets that has discussed it. I mean, that picture there, let me just be clear. When you see smoke flares in the air like there, it looks like it's some sort of violent protest. This was a process of moms putting suntan lotion on children.
The flares were for a completely a different purpose. Anyone that was there knows that, as Beverly well does. But of course, yeah, they think of football hooligans with flares and things, I suppose, the fast asleep people.
Neck. And, you know, dads in deck shoes protesting because their businesses are closed or that they
She's
haven't
right.
been able to see their grandchildren.
Now here we see that Jeremy's going to cut in again because obviously Beverly's going to hit some nerves with maybe a few people that are sat at home watching. Let's not forget. Oh, that bloody grinder. But here comes the Jarvis. Well, that was a bit of a synchronicity there, wasn't it? It was the grinder started as she started. I mean, I'll say no more.
We are 3 weeks away from the next stage of the opening up. We have been opening up for the last 2 months. We have been in a position where 3 months ago, less than 3 months ago, we had a month in which 1/3 of all the deaths that happened during the entire pandemic happened. We were days away from the position they are now in Delhi, where we have families desperately driving.
And look how she segues into India. I mean, come on. Is this not just predictable? It really is, isn't it? I'm in two minds whether to let her play or not, because she does wind me up. The things she's saying, I can argue back with certain facts, but the trouble is, even though they're facts, YouTube doesn't like them. I think I just need to say that most of the people that are watching this now are people like-minded that know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to say it. So, but you know what I'm saying. Look how this is guiding people.
Around from hospital to hospital, trying to get oxygen they've run out of. Brazil has got a wave where the majority of people in intensive care are under the age of 40. Chile is in a position where they've vaccinated 59% of their population, and they are in the middle of...
I mean, I don't know about these figures that she's spouting. It could be true that these people are being affected, but by what? Because what tests are they doing? I'm guessing it's PCR tests. So, yeah, they're looking for COVID. And you've got a country of 1.3 or 1.4 billion people. I mean, I don't know if they're doing the same there as here, but if you're testing people twice a week, 1.4 billion people, you don't have to be a blooming mathematician to know. That's going to give you a lot of cases, isn't it? And especially if you know the true things about PCR tests, which most people won't. Most of the people watching this obviously will, but most people probably don't outside of that, because they just believe what they're told by people like her.
Third wave, we have finally, for the first time, started doing this properly, which is opening up, taking 4 weeks, opening up, seeing what impact they have, and then taking the next step. We've got Wales and Scotland opening up.
And every step of the way, you know what this is about. Or if you don't, then you're just some sort of gullible puppet, and I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know.
Further today, within the next 3 weeks, we're going to be
Beverly's
going
already
to the
tried
next
to
stage
tell
of
you.
opening up, and within 6-7 weeks, we're going to be effectively opening up. So,
And you know full well that they'll be talking about India variant, India variant, India variant, India variant. And more than likely that will come in here. I mean, it'd be handy for them if they could get it in before June the 21st, wouldn't it? Just saying.
So Beverly, all you had to do was wait a little longer.
God, look at her face. What? Look at her.
So Beverly, all you
What
had
is the
to do was
point?
wait a
What
little
is the
longer.
point? Well, don't you like being...
What?
Sorry,
Jeremy,
Beverly.
because
I'm not going to talk over Beverly. But her, what is the point? Because we're free people, you muppet. Do you not get that? Maybe I give you too much credit. You're clearly just another TV shill, TV doctor. Probably chums with Dr. Shillery as well, no doubt. Exchange notes on how to terrify people. You're an idiot.
All you had to do was wait a little longer.
for what, Jeremy? Because for Sarah to make any sort of reference and comparison between India and Brazil is completely nonsensical. It's purely
Yeah, look at that.
fear-mongering.
Look at that face. Look at her. Look at it. She can't... I mean, I'm not being funny, okay? But what a mature kind of response from a supposed respectable doctor. She's just a condescending twat. Very much like fucking Keir Starmer the other week. Not necessarily him with the pub landlord, but what happened to him afterwards when he went on TV with GMB. This is exactly the same thing. They have their prat doctor on there as well, trying to ridicule people. Beverly's talking sense, okay? She's talking facts and she's talking sense, and you can't deal with that because what can you say to her? Nothing. You just pull stupid faces, you bellend.
People who were marching there on Saturday are concerned about the next steps. They're concerned about the future. They're
Exactly.
aware that this is not about a virus. It's about significant lifestyle changes that we are going to have to live with, and that nobody is discussing. And while people like Sarah talk about India, which is a country in which 1,000 children a day die of...
Go on, Beverly's checking her facts now. I love this. I love it. Beverly was very well prepared for this. She knew. She knew what Dr. Jarvis... I'm not even going to call her that. She knew what Sarah was going to say.
starvation in India. Where is the outrage about that? At the moment,
Yeah, exactly.
27,000 people a day die in India of all other causes. At the
Exactly.
moment, about 10% of them are dying with COVID-19 on death certificates.
Let me bring in Femi.
On death certificates, exactly. On death certificates. There, someone knocked Femi up.
The India thing. You can't use the fact that it's a country with a high mortality rate and say that, well, we'll just ignore the COVID there. As for the general...
Yeah, but hang on, you were someone who didn't want to recognise a referendum for Brexit, so let's be honest, who gives a crap what you recognise, you dickhead?
Full of protests. I never condemned the Black Lives Matter protest because I understood...
No, you didn't. Of course you didn't, because you're a race-baiting twat. Why would you condemn it? But I remember where you go with this, so let's just see. It's funny. Let's see.
There was a real need to protest, so it would be completely hypocritical.
Right, okay. So Black Lives Matter had a legitimate reason to protest, okay. So they had a legitimate reason to set fire to things. And this is the thing, you're now comparing a violent mob with peaceful protesters. What a world you live in. What a world you live in, Femi.
Active protesting if you're anti-lockdown. I may disagree with you, but I'm not going to condemn the act of protesting. What I will condemn is congregating in that large numbers without masks.
So you don't care about people's freedom of choice then, do you? You are essentially a fascist. You claim to be woke lefty or whatever. Whatever you claim to be, I have no clue. But you're essentially a fascist. So will you come to realise that this is how history repeats? Jesus, Femi. Give your fucking head a wobble, mate. Oh, God. The staged Sarah Everard stuff, you mean? Yeah, you mean that? You can't sympathise. If you support protesting, then you support protesting, don't you? You can condemn violence. I can agree with that. But you can't condemn people for not wearing masks, you flipping tosspot. You absolute wuss. I imagine you sat at home scared as stiff on Saturday, didn't you? Didn't go out. Too many maskless people. Wah, wah. Crying like a baby. Here we go. Here we go. Femi and his super spreader event. Of course, Femi. Go fuck yourself, you dickhead.
Significant rise in infection after the Black Lives Matter protest. They were wearing masks. People yesterday.
How condescending. Do you think you are? You're not half as smart as Beverly is, you donut.
Spat in the faces, both literally and metaphorically.
Oh my god, they did not. You're a fucking idiot.
Of NHS workers who've been, not literally, NHS workers who have been putting their lives on the line for the past year to save.
Yeah, they were doing that, were they? I mean, I saw a fucking lot of them TikToking, I know that.
They're now finally heading towards the end where they might not be at the edge of breaking mental break.
What about the people that you forced into lockdowns then? What about the people that wear a mask because they're scared of not wearing one in case someone like you has a go at them? What about that, Femi? Mr. I'm so liberal and left, yet you're happy to bully people? What a fucking cockwomble you are.
And you're doing this.
If you believe my account.
Right. After the dose of Femi, at least we get the placebo now. In comes Beverly.
If you believe my account, the fact that there were roughly about 400,000 people.
Which I disagree with, Beverly. I think you're being very conservative. I'm quite happy to say 500 to 750,000. I was there as well, but it could have easily been 1 million. I've seen drone footage, and that was like easily 2 miles long, easily. 40 minutes we stopped, and still only just barely caught the end of it, barely. And there were still people coming along. It was nuts.
There on Saturday, that is no different to a weekend in Soho. It is no different to people who are sat outside tables in Piccadilly Square in Manchester. So that is just ridiculous. What you're objecting to, Femi, you say that you don't object to my ideology because you supported protests for Black Lives Matter. It is no different. A year ago, we did not have the data on masks. We have it now. There are some superb meta-analyses which I will put on my Twitter account at Beverly Turner, which.
At Beverly Turner, there you go. I'm not on Twitter, but if anyone is and they want to follow her, and they're in the UNN group as well, and you want to share any of her posts in there, please feel free, because Beverly's clearly on our side. I think David should think about having a chat with her, maybe. But yeah, so she's going to talk about now the studies that have been done. So
demonstrate the efficacy of masks is a joke. It is a myth. If you want to wear a mask, I don't judge you for doing so, but please don't judge me for not wearing a mask. Outdoors, we have football stadiums in Texas full of people with no infection rate. We were outdoors, and they are outdoors. It is no different.
Aren't we, Bev, though, looking at India? Those people who are scared.
And again, in comes Jeremy and interjects, of course. Why won't he? Because we've got to keep pushing India. Right, I'm going to just, yeah. India.
Look at what's going on in India, where they've had 1 million cases in 3 days. And it's a real warning, isn't it?
And I wonder just how many people they were being kind of forced to test, you know?
You can't just talk it away. It's there. It's real.
You're terrifying people with India, Jeremy. And that's...
Sorry to interrupt you there, Beverly, but she's spot on again, isn't she? Exactly what they're doing, exactly.
People with India, Jeremy. And that is not what we're having here. India is a country with immense poverty. As I say, the percentages, I put the graph on my Twitter this morning. We are still not seeing in India a number of...
I mean, I was going to say, I don't know how in relation, but we had Marcus Rashford talking and pushing about poverty here. So, I mean, yeah, we do have a poverty issue here. I'm not saying it's as bad as India, but they have a much larger population. But anyway, Beverly, spitting facts.
That we saw here per day in March a year ago. I am not belittling those pictures. These are people who are poorly. They are also people who fit the same demographic as those who have succumbed to COVID-19 in this country.
Well
the
said.
Elderly,
Well said.
Already unwell.
Well said. Right, so here we go. Now we'll get Beverly in. Sorry, now he brings in Sarah, his attack dog. Well, I was going to say, UK Column did some graphs today, so you can go and look at those. See what Dr. Sarah's saying is a nonsense.
52% of people in Brazil going into ITU now are under the age
Brazil
of
then.
40.
Right, okay.
For instance, of women, they've been disproportionately affected during the second wave. The simple fact of the matter is that in India, they do not have the same reporting system. So a report of 350,000 cases and 2,500 deaths is a massive underestimate of the actual figures. The difference is that in the UK,
not so much that. I just wanted to catch back up on what she actually said.
That in India, they do not have the same reporting system. So a report of 350,000 cases and
Right, so reporting cases. So again, we're talking PCRs, aren't we? So you saying that's actually a smaller number is a big fat lie. Because if PCRs are as reliable as some people are say they are, and some people are proving they are, then that is a big fat lie you're talking, Sarah.
5,000 deaths is a massive underestimate of the actual figures. The difference is that in the UK, we finally have accurate figures. This is a dramatic underestimate.
Of course it is.
We're going to speak to Leslie now from Kent, who says if anyone at the protest was infected, it could be disastrous.
Oh, here we come.
Tell Bev, because she's listening.
Oh, hello, Beck. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, team. Yes, I wouldn't say I'm worried. I'm not anxious, but I am very concerned about the...
Okay. Wouldn't say I'm worried or anxious, but I am concerned. I think they need to prep these guests a bit better, because I don't all of those three words basically have the same sort of meaning. If you're anxious about something, it means you're worrying about something. If you're worried about something, it means you're concerned about something. So basically, she's worried, anxious, and concerned, I'd say. She just can't decide which.
But people who congregated in this mass protest. Yes, we
people
have
congregated.
the right to have protest and speak our word in England. It's supposed to be calm.
It was.
It's supposed to be
It
civil.
was.
It was. Oh.
The press was neither of those things.
Whatever.
On the news clip. On top of that, we do have a missing India at the moment. That is a reality. We can't just pretend it's not happening. Even if your meta-analysis is correct, which I would be very interested in looking at.
Did you say your meta-analysis?
Even if your meta-analysis
What's she talking about? Meta-analysis? Who is this?
is correct,
She
which I
a government
would be
agent?
interested in looking at regarding March.
Typical. Oh, and it would be Leslie from Kent, wouldn't it, eh? I wonder if that's intentional with the old Kent variant that gets keep thrown around.
Yeah, have a look at it.
Too close to each other
Shush you.
to avoid...
I was there, Leslie, you stupid fuck.
So was I.
I was there, Leslie, you stupid fuck.
Oh, calm down.
Exactly, well said, Beverly.
People on Zimmer frames. There were no
Fucking right, Beverly. Nurses, I met them.
out there were women in their 20s who have been taught about consent, who've spent 10 years being taught about consent, who are really frightened. They're going to have a drug they don't want to live normally.
She's saying that they're too close to each other, and if
You're missing the point, Jeremy, and you're just diverting from the fact that, again, Beverly was pointing out that there was all sorts of people there. I don't know what you kind of thought. I was going to say, you thought there was only 10,000 people there, so I mean, you're in cloud cuckoo land
it
anyway.
was 300,000, then they, by definition, they were too close.
There was more than 300,000, and they were as close as they freaking wanted to be. Because who has the right to tell you how close you can be to someone, apart from that person?
That is their choice, Jeremy. If a woman in her 20s...
Jeremy, you're a free fucking human, you cunt.
...from a SARS-CoV-2 virus...
I was angrier this morning, clearly.
Who are we to tell them they are not allowed
Well said,
to take
Beverly.
that risk?
Isn't the answer to that as a society we've decided certain things, social distancing, masks, lockdown, etc.
No, you decided, you fucking soy drinking twat. Thank you. Thank you. Fucking right.
This is why Beverly is doing so much better than I would. I'd just be swearing at him. It just winds me up.
2021, was.
Go on,
We're
Beverly.
looking at another 2 months of these restrictions. And do you know how many people died with TB on their death certificate in the last week? 200. 200 in a week.
Sure. Listen,
How many people die every week in the UK? This
Yeah,
is
1600. That might even be a day, actually. I think 1600. I was half asleep, not fully awake. Oh.
Oh, no, this
Oh, okay. Here we've got Michelle. Michelle was in support, so let's hear what she says. She went,
And you were in the situation where you had your head
oh, who
in your
cares
hands.
about Femi, Jeremy, for God's sake. Of course he had his head in his hands.
Yeah, that's why the clock's like a year.
He hasn't left his flat in a year.
At the start of March last year, we were
I went
seeing
into self-imposed lockdown because I'm the biggest pussy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, propaganda, Femi, you fucking muppet.
See, he just winds me up.
Shut up, Femi, you fucking muppet. Why'd they give this fucking cunt airtime?
I'm sorry.
Get it. Get him off.
Shh, stop swearing.
Fucking twat.
zero lessons.
You've learnt zero in your whole fucking life, you dumb cunt.
He said COVID on the death certificate. No,
That's what they put on it.
compared to the number of people who have died this year compared to previous years,
You've rolled 2 flu seasons into one, you lying fuckers.
person to person, quickly.
I couldn't agree more. because
Fuck off, Dr. Jarvis, you fucking idiot.
the number of deaths in the UK was
I'm just going to sit back now, I think.
I'd rather listen to Dr. Vernon Coleman than this fucking ginger twat.
No offence to all nice gingers, of course. I only dislike twat gingers like her.
Mortality rate we have ever had in this country.
Fuck off, you ginger twat.
Came close, about 690,000 last year.
Fuck off, you ginger twat, you lying ginger twat.
Death rates from heart disease were 2.5 times higher than they are now. So it's the highest.
Yeah, you wiped it all out and put everything down as COVID, you silly fucker.
I don't get that. How can she honestly say that? How can she honestly say that? That like these cases of heart disease, etc., have doubled? Of course they did. If you're putting everything down as COVID, every fucking heart disease death was COVID, you knobend. And you well know that. You're so dishonest.
We've got someone who's going to support you now. Michelle is on the line. So
Yeah, let Michelle speak for fuck's sake.
Yeah. See there, they went on long enough to just keep her hanging on because she obviously had some really good points. But yeah, she does well anyway.
So what is it you'd like me? What do you want me to answer?
I thought you called us.
No.
She did, you fucking twat, and you put her on hold while you let Femi and Sarah talk shit for several minutes. Clearly a ploy to distract her, you knobend.
But you're talking about a wide range of things. You're talking about numbers.
Well, all right. I'll just to roll together what the panel was saying here. We're watching.
Yeah, because she came in to support, so would have agreed with Beverly. So rather than directing to what Beverly said, you're going to go to what they said. Nice, Jeremy.
Carnage in India.
Carnage. Oh
We're
my
learning
god.
From that we've got to take this steady now. Not have a massive gathering without masks.
Gathering without masks was for people to stand together, guys, stand united and get our voices heard. We are not being heard. There are 2 sides to this, and the mainstream media are only showing the government's narrative.
Brilliant.
The government's narrative is not based on facts. There
Brilliant.
are just as many scientists out there that would disagree with everything, and I mean everything, that the MSM
Go on, Michelle, well done.
the government are saying is facts. I'm sorry, but that is true, and we are not heard.
But it's amazing.
Yeah, cut her off there. Don't cut in there, can't you? Because you know where she was going with that. Dr. Jarvis isn't even. I'm not even going to call her that. Oh, Sarah isn't even jumping in, is she? Because she knows what Michelle's talking about.
We can't even get you and the panel to see eye to eye on this excess deaths thing, which should be really straightforward.
There are none.
While we're talking about that, we're not talking about what people were angry about on Saturday. And there was some anger, yes, but there was also a huge amount of celebration and any.
Well, I didn't see anger, so I mean, unless she's talking about at the end, but people were angry with the police for steaming in with those tactics like they did to try and break up what was a peaceful end to a peaceful march.
Everybody that was there on Saturday came away with.
Why is it that they have such a problem with peace and being peaceful and caring about each other? Why do they have such a problem with that?
On Saturday, and there was some anger, yes, but there was also a huge amount of celebration, and anybody that was there on Saturday came away with hope in our hearts.
Buzzing, mate,
about
buzzing.
the future, because we
Still
aren't
am.
talking about what we should be talking about. We aren't talking about what the point of keeping us terrified is and how that's going to look in our practical lives in terms of never being able to leave the house without our phones and our data and our health data. And Sarah Jarvis knows that some of the numbers that
Sarah's a lying ginger cunt.
Apologies to all gingers who are nice people and not cunts. And I apologise. I will stop using that word as well. I promise. I know some people might not like it, but some things just boil your piss.
You know, we have to all.
No offence to any other gingers, I'm sure there's nice ones.
See?
Degree in critical appraisal.
Oh. Shut the fuck up, you wanker! Fuck off, you sanctimonious cunt!
No, man, look at the
Fucking
face.
sanctimonious cunt!
Just look at the face, though, there. How sanctimonious is she? What she was saying. She just basically went there and ripped into Beverly because Beverly's not a doctor. Beverly hasn't got these letters after her name. No, but Beverly has something you don't seem to have, and that's a moral conscience. And I would say a healthy dose of common sense. And on Saturday, like, you know, possibly a million of us, she got a real good healthy dose of vitamin D as well. Nice healthy walk, loads of fresh air. I really don't know what to say there, Sarah. Why have you got a problem with people doing things that you'd normally recommend? Well, we know why. Anyway, that's enough of that. On to the next bit.
Beverly Turner was there. Storm, you've got more calls.
Certainly do. We're going to speak to Rachel now from the Wirral, who was disappointed to see the protest.
Why so, Rachel?
Morning, Jeremy. Thanks very much for taking my call. I love your show, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I'm quite upset about it, Jeremy. I lost my auntie with COVID last August, and I also lost my mum in October with pneumonia, and in fact we weren't able to see her and get in close contact with her due to the virus, obviously to the rules and everything. And I've had COVID twice now, and I don't think people seem to understand how exhausting it is. I've suffered from long COVID now. I've always been very.
Oh, you've had fucking everything, ain't you, Rachel? Fucking hell.
Even just watching.
I've had it twice and I've got long COVID. Oh, fucking hell. I've had it nothing. I've never nothing. Dickhead.
Good point, and Beverly, it's hard for someone like Rachel to see this because she's really suffered.
I understand that, and I'm sorry for Rachel's situation, but you can't extrapolate one person's experience to apply to a whole country. Long COVID, look, post-viral syndrome is nothing new.
Whoop, whoop.
It's been around
Well done,
for
Beverly.
decades, and everybody knows that. You
Beverly
wouldn't have called it ME, you might have called it glandular fever, you'd have just called it post-viral syndrome. This is not something new. We don't have any evidence that this is anything particularly different at the moment. It's certainly not enough reason to stop people like Rachel seeing their loved ones when they are on their way off this earth. You know, that we were campaigning, we were walking, Rachel, precisely for people like you who haven't been allowed to have contact with somebody.
Well said, Beverly.
Goodbye. Those are the
Rachel,
kind of things
what about that?
that we are concerned about. It wasn't a selfish crowd. It was a selfish
Me, myself and my husband, we've tried to follow the rules completely to, you know, everything. Trying to do our best and everything, reduce the numbers, even though we've, you know, my husband's had it once, I've had it twice now, and we've been trying to follow the rules and try and keep these cases down.
Well, I've not followed any rules and never caught it, so I don't know what you're doing wrong, Rachel, you twat.
Melanie, what about you thinking about this? I haven't spoken to you for a couple of minutes here, so tell me what you think.
I've been sat in shock, to be honest, just listening to Beverly's babbling.
Oh, fuck off, you fucking condescending, jumped up prat. Is that can someone answer me? Is that a fucking woman or a man? I'm not 100% sure.
We have a GP on the.
She looks like another fucking Michael Obama or Melinda Gates. I don't know.
Sarah's quote about having excess deaths in the last 100 years is not accounting for population change. She's conveniently.
Sarah's being a prat, you know it, Beverly.
You don't think there's something really dodgy about the fact
Melody don't care, she's a shill.
People in London, and the BBC didn't even.
Exactly, Beverly. Exactly, Beverly.
You realise that there is something else.
Fucking fundamentally wrong, Beverly.
And about creating a compliant society like you, who says the doctor's always right.
Exactly.
Well, I listen to doctors every single day. I'm in communication.
Yeah, let's Dr. Mike Yeadon.
And they are disagreeing with the likes of Sarah Jarvis. There are two versions.
The majority view is clearly brought us to where we are.
No, Jeremy, the fucking mainstream view, you mean? That's not the majority, you cunt.
Locking down to defeat the virus. That's where we've got to.
Well, we failed then, you prat.
Majority view. It's Witty and Balance and a few select members of the stage committee who have dictated to the government that we do this.
Exactly.
Look, I think...
Cool, I haven't got a rant much. Beverly's doing it.
Let's not talk about what's happened in the last year necessarily. We know that we got things very badly wrong. Our death rate was high because we didn't have PPE to protect nurses and doctors. We didn't protect people in care homes.
Too late.
And arguably, we didn't.
It's interesting with respect to MMR. I've seen the same thing over the course of 25 years.
Let's zoom in on the ginger.
Anti-MMR, we hear from the anti-lockdown.
I'm a fucking TV doctor, you. I'll say whatever they tell me to say because I get paid money by Channel 5, ITV, whoever, to whore myself out and spread my misinformation, which is classed as information, because the mainstream won't allow anything bar people like me.
The number who are anti-lockdown is absolutely infinitesimal, but it suits Beverly to say, "Oh,
infinitesimal. Go fuck yourself, you ginger cunt."
Okay. Enclose yourself in your own little world to agree with.
I'll come back to you, Bev, in a sec.
Like you do, you stupid bitch. Fucking idiot.
The protests at the weekend.
So again,
well done, Sarah.
Very much on Bev's side, Sarah.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Yes, I am. I think
Ah,
we've
fucking
got
grinder.
vaccination numbers, you know, across the globe, we've got the highest. And other places are opening up. I mean, you see Florida is completely open. You've got thousands upon thousands of people at basketball games, yet we can't open up, yet we can't gather in groups.
Well done.
Sure, I mean, I do see pictures from Florida of people walking along the boardwalk at the beach. I'm never quite sure what I'm supposed to make of that. That's all. It's outside. It's probably safer. The USA is not a good example of how to control it. They ended up as the first country to 1 million cases, didn't they? So
they have nearly 400 or 300. Was it 350 million population? Dickhead. Jeremy, Mr. Jeremy, BBC propaganda fear porn peddler.
Tell me something, Jeremy Buzzley. Why is there there seemed to be a lot of people against the vaccine on the march yesterday?
Yeah.
Or Saturday. I couldn't work out why.
I don't think that's the general consensus. I think the general consensus is for individual liberty.
Thank you.
And I think
my body, my choice.
Differing opinions and differing views. Everyone is entitled to have different perspectives. But people are united there in a desire for freedom, in a desire for bodily autonomy and sovereignty over their individual rights and individual choices.
There we are, Femi. That's something.
It's not just that, though, is it? It's the passport thing.
Yeah, people should have the right to protest. That's important, and in fact, that right to protest is increasingly under threat. We've seen the effectively illegal to be noisy at a protest. The right to protest is sacrosanct, but the right to protest in a way that endangers other people by not wearing masks.
What, like BLM burning shit, you fucking idiot? So BLM can riot, yeah? That's okay? Fiery but mostly peaceful, Femi.
Extrapolate from that one color's suffering to the entire country. 130,000 people died.
I'm Felly the Wally. I'm Femi the Wally. Hello, my name's Femi the Wally. Black Lives Matter was very peaceful. They went out and they just literally sat in the street and waved candles and preached love. Fucking knobhead.
People in a country of 70 million, Femi, is awful. For every single death is a loss. Do not get me wrong. What you saw on Saturday were a crowd of people who really, really care. Who really care about humanity. Who really care about how your children and my children will live their lives. About the big changes that are happening at the moment. We have all taken responsibility to be there. We will take a risk. As I say, if you sit in a restaurant outside and have a meal, that was no different to Saturday. And also, can I just talk about the violence? That was a few idiots. At any protest, any protest, you're going to have a few scallies at the end of the day.
That was at the end at Hyde Park, and there were agitators there as well. So don't even show the proper clip. Show the clip with the guy who tries to push the copper agitating.
Violence or any sort of aggression.
Exactly.
They would do most of the day, everybody, there was very, very few police there.
Exactly.
You know, Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
They lined the streets with police, Femi. You might want to think about that.
Well done, Beverly.
In terms of the ideology.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Femi, you dickhead.
They were saying hi back.
They took a selfie. They took a picture of us for us.
Go to our break. Thank you, Bev. Thank you, Sarah. Both have to leave us now. After the break, it's our stories of the...
Things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.